Happy Monday and welcome to the after show of SuperSoul Conversations. This is SuperSoul Sitdown and we are talking some of Lupita Nyong'o's deepest vulnerabilities and transformation. Stay tuned.
You're tuned into Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Tune in right now.
Ooh. Hey. What's going on? Happy Monday. Happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday to you.
Yay. Here we are again for another episode of SuperSoul Sit Down. So I hope you're sitting down. Maybe
hope you're not too tired with the time change.
Oh, that's right. Did you guys get your hour? I don't know. I think I was asleep just the whole time. Nothing.
My car doesn't change for me. So I had that, of course, moment of panic. Did you?
Nope.
I'm on my phone. I'm like, no, I'm not late. But my phone, I had to remember to change my car.
Oh, yeah.
But we're here. We made it. And
so did you. So thank you.
Episode.
Thank you guys so much for being here. So yes, thank you guys for tuning in. This is SuperSoul Sit Down, and the guest was Lupita Nyong'o. You've got to imagine the gems and jewels you are about to get from this podcast. So we're going to dive right into it. I am your super happy, ever evolving host, Jamie Alexander, here loving to talk everything spiritual. And to my left is my ever evolving and brilliantly beautiful Haley J.
You're so sweet. Hi guys. So when I was first seeing that Lupita was the guest, I was super excited because a lot of times, which we love learning about the guests, but a lot of times I don't know them. So I was excited to be like, yes, I know her.
Absolutely. So this is amazing. And I love this and I love having you a host because you really are dedicated to your growth and evolving.
Thanks.
And I love coming in here and you giving me updates and, we just kind of share how we're growing, through life. So this is
kind
really
of pointless to get access to all this information and not try and apply it to your life in some form, right? It kind of defeats the purpose of it all.
Yes, absolutely. So we want you guys to stick around to the end too, because we have, of course, our special segment, Own Your Soul, where we share something that we're going to take in the week so that we can own our souls and continue to evolve as well. So Oprah is brilliant, as usual. These conversations that she has flow so well, and she knows exactly what to ask the guest that she has on and how to really get in there and get what is going to benefit us from this guest. So what did you think of Lupita Nyong'o's podcast with Oprah as a whole?
Well, my first note was this proves how great of an interviewer that Oprah is, because multiple times Lupita was like, gotta think about that. And same for myself. Wow. Yeah. I had to think about that. So I think that really just goes to prove why Oprah is who she is. So that was really cool to see her in that Oprah chair that she holds so well. And it was just a really incredible story of seeing someone that grew up not feeling confident, wanting to change almost everything about herself. And now look at her. She is, she's one of the top actresses. She's one of the most powerful women in black women in film. She's the first African to win an Oscar for 12 Years a Slave. Like, those are not small feats here. She's doing amazing things, and it's kind of unbelievable seeing to where she started and looking at her now. I would have never thought that's the background she came from.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those of you who don't know who Lupita Nyong'o is, I don't know how that's possible, but yeah, she is an award-winning Kenyan Mexican actor. So I'm not sure if a lot of you knew she grew up in Mexico, but she shot to fame after her education at Yale and then was cast in 12 Years a Slave. She was also honored with an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress, making her the 6th Black actress to receive the award. Likewise, she's the first African actress to win the award, like you were saying, and the first Kenyan actress to win an Oscar, as well as the first Mexican to win the award. So,
Did you get all that?
Yeah, did you get all that? So in my little Spanish, estoy muy orgulloso de ella. We are so proud of her because she is just killing it.
Can't offer anything.
Yes, I'm studying my Spanish up in here, so I love that. I would love to move to Mexico to learn the language. Her parents.
I want to travel and meet people and do everything. Meet people like Lupita, and I really connected with her saying that life is happening so fast. When Oprah says, do you feel like you've done all these things? It's really setting in. And it is true. I think a lot of times life moves so fast that it takes us a second to sit back and say, whoa, where even am I? And you're happy and you're grateful, but sometimes it doesn't even feel like it's your story anymore because you're there, but it's all happening to you and you want to be present, but you want to be excited and you don't want it to slow down. So it's an interesting kind of balance you have to figure out. But I like that she said you need to make room for abundance.
Yeah, that one hit me. That definitely sprung me into action in some areas this week where I was like, you know what? I am going to make room for abundance, because sometimes we don't do that. I did go to acting school for a few years, and I did theater for a year. And they don't, well, actually, one of my teachers was really good at it, but I love how she was speaking about how they don't really teach you how to win. They teach you to take all the hard hits, and that does create a mindset in itself. But to teach you how to win, she said a lot of people can't handle the whiplash when you're going so fast, like you're like, and then your neck snap back and you're like, oh my God, like you said, all this stuff is happening. So I love that she offered wisdom on how, like, to make room for abundance. It's something that we don't think about. But what did you think about that statement about making room for abundance? What did that mean to you?
The whole concept is very interesting because we are prepped that this industry is tough. You're going to get more no's than yes. And although I agree that to be true, on the flip side, you need to learn how to handle success. It's almost like be careful what you wish for mentality. So it almost takes a specific mindset, kind of training in a way, to make room for the good things. And I think sometimes we're so prepped to get the door closed in our face.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
I think that's how imposter syndrome develops a little bit, that when you do get the things you want, you almost question, well, is this supposed to be happening? Should I accept it? So yeah, I think it's a really strong message of, when the good things happen, don't question it. That it's like, it's too good to be true. Maybe not. Maybe you worked really hard and maybe you deserve it and maybe you should enjoy
That was a
it,
word. I was beyond inspired because, she's just on point. Preparing to hear the yes. So some of the ways I think that we can do that, because I don't think she got specific, but I think we can do it in little ways every day just by receiving. She received a lot. Things went so fast for her. She talked about 12 from basically... She did one film, I think it was smaller, and then after that she did 12 Years a Slave, and literally it's been nonstop since. So much so that her friends are like nervous to ask her to even hang out, which is...
I love that she said, I still want to be asked to hang out even if I can't. Because that, you see her as big and successful, but even she feels left out if she doesn't get invited. And that is hard because I can relate to, I feel like I'm, constantly saying no to people if they want to go out on a Wednesday, and I'm a grandma, so I never do. But I'm like, at the same time, think that I would miss it if the invitation stopped completely. So it's that balance you have to find. But I feel like the way, and she didn't really elaborate, but what I picked up on her saying how her mom always told her that your job isn't to act, it's to change the narrative.
Yeah.
I think because she does give back in so many ways, where she's writing books, she's trying to do more than just be this Hollywood actress. She has a message. She's looking for her purpose, just like the rest of us. I feel like because she's honed in on that and she can actually do that is the reason she's opening to receiving. She's not just collecting awards and moving on. Do you know what I'm saying? She's finding that balance, equally giving back in the ways that she's receiving.
Yeah, there's some grace behind that grit. She's got something going on. Yeah, for us, it's definitely what pushes you forward energetically, because I'm sure, like you said, she's not just out here collecting wins, although that's part of it. It is the purpose that powers this thing too. And
that's the difference, I think. I think that's what makes someone last in this industry versus you got your 15 minutes and on to the next.
Yeah, and you could tell that because of how chill she talks about herself being, that she's like, okay, it was totally reflective of me and some people that I could think about. It's like you like to dress up, but it's like, I need a team. If it's just going to be me, I'm going to be in sweats and a t-shirt, and I love that she has that vibe about herself. She's like, I got the free stuff I've had for years. I'm not out here shopping.
She's not going to post a selfie with makeup on and say no makeup and pretend that this is how we wake up type thing. She's very honest, and we like that. We like authenticity. Absolutely.
Yeah. And another thing that I picked up on that was powerful that her mother or her family said, or her mother said to her, was make home everywhere. Now, when you grow up with image issues, and we can definitely delve into how she felt about herself at a young age, being able to make home anywhere is such a valuable resource, because it gives you a level of permission to be in the room, even if you don't feel like you deserve to be there, if that makes sense.
Well, back to her statement saying, I know the industry wasn't made for me, but I'm not going to apologize for being here.
See?
That's
and
powerful.
That is because I really feel like that make home anywhere. Like, you're allowed to be here. If you're here, this is your home. This is an environment. That's good. Yeah, I loved how we connected that.
Absolutely. Well, it is true. I've always said people make a place, so for me, if I was in the most beautiful place in the world, of course I'd be appreciative, but I don't think I would take it in the same way as if you were with me or I was creating that experience. And it doesn't have to be romantic. Like anyone that I care for, just to share that with me, I think is really powerful. So it does come with, I think, figuring out who you are in order to make any place a comfort space and being able to have confidence and speak up. And there's no place like home, but if you can create your own space, then maybe any place could be your home.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree with that. Being a military brat, kind of had no choice but to do that. Yeah. So for, you know, she was born in Mexico City, and from going there, and I think they went to Kenya and all these places, it was just at a young age, it was very, that I'm sure that helped her out a lot in being able to make that real and not just something that she heard.
I do want to talk a little bit about colorism, and we've heard Oprah discuss this before about how when she was a young girl, she wished that her skin was lighter. And we hear Lupita saying the same thing, that she grew up not feeling beautiful, but in that pain, she found such a sense of strength because it allowed her to create more than an appearance for herself. And she said she could develop other parts of herself and other parts of strength because she didn't see herself as just beautiful. It wasn't a cover she could hide from. And ultimately, it's actually very sad to think that such beautiful women, whether we see them or not, I think every woman deserves to feel beautiful and confident. So it is very sad that so many young girls grow up and they're not feeling good about themselves. But how do you feel about her saying that she wished for lighter skin and that she compared herself to her sister who had lighter skin and she didn't feel like she met the standard of beauty? What was that like to hear her say that?
Oh, dear God. It brought tears to my eyes. I mean, obviously, being a Black woman in America, I can relate.
Have you ever wished for lighter skin?
You know,
if you don't mind me asking. I
had periods of time. So I have to say I didn't grow up like that, but I think that's a little bit more because I was a military brat. So everybody was a mixed bag of nuts. Yeah. But I do feel like I started to realize towards middle school and high school, like that's what the guys like. And then we always talk about it, but the first guy I dated was very emotionally abusive in that area. So it was about being light, mixed, your hair looking like this, like to look at you would never think anybody would be looking at Lupita. And it's sad to think and sad to say, but it's such a real thing. So you've got people like Lupita and Oprah having these experiences where the color of your skin gives you it makes you want to be small because you don't want to be seen because you're almost not allowed to be full in what you were made like. It's a mind trip. It's really insane, and it just breaks my heart.
It also goes to show why it's so important that they get this representation in film, because if you feel like you're being hidden, I can see how that would make a child or anyone really feel like I'm not supposed to be represented because one of the biggest platforms that puts people on TV and these are the stars, if they're not represented, they must not be what the world is looking for. Well, it's a subtlety.
It's what we're selling. Mm-hmm. Media, entertainment, TV, everything we're seeing, they're selling something. So if you're selling that image of beauty along with the standard of sex and the body image and all these other things, that's what you're selling. Like it gets subconsciously into the minds of people and then they start to treat you that way. Mm-hmm. And certain men don't want to date you because you're not light enough. Certain people don't want to hire you because your hair is too coarse or too big or too. So it seeps into the subconscious thread of our society and it becomes so much more than just light or black. It's like, damn, I'm not good enough. I can't be here, Right. So that's why her saying she's in the rooms but not apologizing for it is extremely powerful.
It almost makes me wonder now the science behind attraction. Is attraction something that we have innately, or is it something we've been taught?
I think part of it can be puppeted,
I definitely think a lot of it must be our subconscious and what we've been told is attractive and how we form our own version of what we find attractive based on all the information we're given.
Yeah, I mean, so something she said that stood out to me as well is it shouldn't be confusing to find beauty in women who look like her, me, you. This goes for everybody, but just in this particular topic, speaking of a Black woman, but she said she's publicly reclaiming her right to be considered beautiful. And that was like, that just hits you, like, to publicly reclaim that right to be considered beautiful. That's a loaded statement. I had to say it to myself 3 times, like, wow. The choice of words, the power it holds, and the weight of sadness it kind of holds. Absolutely. To even have to fight for the consideration. Right. And clearly you can look at her, the girl's gorgeous.
Absolutely. It's always this way though, right? It's always
So
the people that
crazy.
should be the most confident that have these inner demons they're fighting. But it's also very inspiring to, she's stunning. Like, it's so crazy we're
flawless.
even talking about this. But I can absolutely see if you grew up in a world where you're told this is what beautiful is, of course you're going
And it's
to
not
believe
you.
it.
It's not you, girl.
And as cheesy as it is, I love my quotes when they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It's who is anyone else to tell you if you're technically beautiful or not? And it's that weird thing where they say don't tell little girls they're beautiful anymore. And I think that it's okay to still compliment someone on their beauty, but just let them know that's not all there is to be, I think. For me personally, I would, tell my daughter she looks beautiful, but the one I don't have, but if I had one. But I would also say you're smart, you're bold, you're all these things to create more of a balance in a whole person rather than just, you're so cute and that's enough, kid. I don't want them ever thinking that. So I do think it's changing that talk and the way we express those things.
Yeah, and I'm glad she found beauty in it. Not only beauty in overcoming and the transformation, but the stories that she can share with others who aren't feeling beautiful. And I don't think it was actually this podcast, but I remember she spoke of Alec Weck. Do you know Alec Weck, the supermodel? She's like, all her skin is just like super black. She's beautiful. She's tall. Oprah had a podcast about her, and when Oprah called her beautiful, that changed Lupita Nyong'o's view of herself. Like, wait a minute. Oprah said that Alec Weck is beautiful. She looks like me, like to a T. She's like, and so it opened up her world there. And I think she found value not only in, because there's a part of you who will always relate to being unattractive. It's a duality. We all have it.
Which I think is actually healthy.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say. Like, on the other side of thing, I think there is a little bit of healthy fungus to that, or whatever you want to say to,
if you never kind of have an ugly duckling stage, if you're always, people kind of bow down and treat you differently because you're so beautiful.
Messes with you.
Yeah, and it's why you see young celebrities kind of grow up to be assholes sometimes. Yeah. Because this is what they've been expecting for so long now, that I can see how people get morphed and trapped in that mentality. But I do want to talk about the picture on the screen, her book Sulwe. Wait, am I saying that right?
Sulwe.
Sulwe.
That's a good.
I tried.
You did it, girl.
It's her children's book, and we obviously discussed how she felt as a child, and the fact that she's taking her platform to this level is why I have so much respect for her, because she vowed to not ever want another child to feel the way she felt. She wants them to know that you need to accept your dark skin as beautiful. You can accept yourself exactly the way you are. And she wanted this to be for children. And she has a prayer that speaks better than I could about what she's hoping a child reading this will hear and feel. And we definitely want to share it with you guys. And it's really changing the ways African Americans are viewed in film now. And
which is crazy to even say. I hate sometimes even saying stuff like that, because the fact that we have to differentiate is so crazy to me. But this prayer is really good.
Play it for you guys and see what you think.
It'll break your heart. Get your tissues out. Yes.
Right now.
Got a little screenshotty shot for y'all.
And enjoyable for a child, so that they could love it when they were younger and understand it later.
Yes.
And that's
and the prayer, what I love so much is the prayer inside. Would you read for the prayer which was the prayer you would say to yourself every night, or a form of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dear Lord, why do I look like midnight when my mother looks like dawn? Please make me as fair as the parents I'm from. I want to be beautiful, not just to pretend. I want to have daylight. I want to have friends. If you hear me, my Lord, and would like to comply, may I wake up as bright as the sun in the sky. Amen.
That broke my heart to see her. I got chills again just now hearing the pain behind that. And I really think the fact that she's in this new place now where really she could turn her back on those old feelings and ignore them. But the fact that she said, no, this is very real and this is where I'm coming from, and I'm going to write this book so other kids don't feel this way, is incredible.
Yeah, and I love that she's outspoken about it. And yeah, it's all about reaching back. Because if you feel like it, I always remember there was a quote or there's something I heard, like, if you have a question and you're in a room or class and you're afraid to ask, like 20 other people have that question too.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
so
I push myself to do that now. Yeah. I've had moments where I don't want to ask a question publicly. Not because I feel stupid, but just sometimes I don't even feel like wanting the attention on me blast. In that moment. And now if I will push myself. If I'm nervous to do it, I shoot my hand up that second. And once it's up, I'm not putting it down. And I think those little things that we do along the way to conquer fears are even like getting my ear pierced when I'm scared of needles. Little baby steps really create this foundation of a much more stronger person. And I think starting children off so young where they accept themselves is definitely going to change more representation in film, because if these children are confident, they're going to go to auditions, they're going to be bold, and they're going to do the things they want to do, which I would like to believe would change what we're seeing in a few years. Yeah, that would be amazing. I mean, I think we're headed there. Because Black Panther absolutely dominated. And it was so good. We were so hyped because you got to think, really being Black, if there's an all Black cast, it's a Black movie. My mom laughs and makes fun of me because I love Black movies, but they're not the kind of movies that are usually in the theaters. I hope I don't get any judgment or this doesn't come off ignorant, but I think this is a good thing that I don't even see Black Panther as a Black movie. I'm just seeing characters. I don't know. No, I don't see that's good. That's how you should see it. This is a Black film. Yeah. No, it's just, but it is a big thing, of course, for the Black community, because when you're not seeing it anywhere, then you see it, and then you watch other people get hype about it. You're like, what? It did so well overseas, because that was a big argument that Black films do not get as much money overseas. But it's weird to me. I don't understand that at all, actually. Yeah, I mean, I really feel like the world. Yeah. Well, yeah. So, I mean, I love to see it, and I love to, because you think about it, it started with Oprah and whoever inspired Oprah, but you know what I mean? It started with Oprah and her acceptance and her overcoming, then her platform and her sharing something that Lupita caught. It's a domino effect. It's a domino effect that took her, and now she's learning. Now someone's going to read Sulwe and then feel, so it's like we owe it to each other to give in that way. So to me, it's what makes the pain worth it. Is it right? No, but I think that's another good message just in life too. And it's not always easy. We were just talking about how we're not always in the best moods, but I think to treat people with kindness as much as you can, and really sometimes we don't know how much influence we have on a person. So maybe just being nice to someone, giving them a time of day, could really change the way they think about themselves. What if they're like, Jamie, you're everything I've ever wanted in a person, and you're nice to them? They think, oh, she sees me. Yeah. I'm worth something. Do you know what I mean? Even the smallest things, I think, can really change someone's day. So it's true. I do think that's a very important thing to try and give back and spread kindness, not to be so cheeseball, but I do think at the end of the day, being kind can go a really long way in just making the world better overall. And she's been through so much. I actually didn't realize this. I must have missed this in the Me Too movement of the wave of so many women, unfortunately, to even say that. But she was a victim of Harvey Weinstein. And what was very kind of scary for me, too, about her story is she said that the children were in the room, or not in the room, but the children were there when she was with Harvey. And to her, she didn't think anything was wrong with that. I've had that exact same experience. Thankfully, everything was fine. But I remember, I was meeting up with someone to potentially nanny for them. And I did meet in a public place. But he asked, do you want to come back and see the house? And the kids were there. So in my mind, I thought it was okay because the kids were there. And saying it back, I actually feel like that wasn't the best decision. Like the worst after-school special. Well, you just think, oh, he wouldn't do anything in front of his kids. But he actually very easily could have put him in a room and done whatever he wanted when I think about it. So that was a really kind of scary and relatable moment where you just, it's sometimes when the whole victim, it's like you put yourself in that situation. That really irritates me because obviously that's a whole other topic in itself of no one would ever deserve to be treated that way. But just to see how easy it is to get in those situations. Yeah. And I love that she admitted it, and I love that it didn't break her. Because that is a tough thing. You've already got some of these issues going on. Yeah, it's horrifying. She worked very hard to get to where she needed to be. But then at the same time, you get that fear like, oh my God, could it all be taken away like this because I'm not satisfying this person? Like there's just a lot that goes through your mind. Especially in this industry. If you how many people, before everything came out about him, would have killed for that opportunity to be in a room with someone who has so much power, especially with her background of fighting for her color and acceptance. And now she's in a room with a guy that can change her life. Absolutely. I'm so happy that she came out the other side, obviously, and that this guy's going down as he should. But I was really shocked to hear that because I didn't even know that she had experienced that too.
That's a lot of vulnerabilities and a lot of overcoming. I like what she said about committing to the present moment, which kind of speaks to her work because, Oprah was asking her about, I think the name of the character is Patsy, for 12 Years a Slave. I forgot her character's name, but she was kind of asking her how she let go of that character, which is also another layer of psychology in this whole thing of how do you function and go forward when you literally played a slave being raped by a white man and beat on and shushed and
to have that so close to home. That's such a personal thing.
It's wild. She's brilliant.
I think it takes a lot of mental strength. Even I thought about doing psychology years ago, and I felt like, could I let go of the experiences I was taking in at work? And obviously I didn't choose that path, but I can see how extremely difficult that would be to be an amazing actor. I think it takes everything inside of you to literally believe you are that person when the camera turns on. So to separate, that's extremely hard to just take off the mask and suddenly you're back. I think I would struggle with who am I?
Yeah.
Who actually am I? Because I'm all these people. So I think that just takes an extreme amount of strength. And then what I really loved about everything with Harvey is she said the shame and guilt was not hers to hold. And I just thought about how much do we hold on to things that aren't ours to hold on to? Yeah. And why?
Yeah, it's something we definitely need to hear repeatedly, sometimes daily.
Do you think you could do her 10-day silent retreat?
I actually signed up to go to that.
You did?
Yeah, and I got accepted, but something happened with the job I was working, blah, blah, I couldn't go, but I would love to.
Accepted into it?
Yeah, it starts with an A, as something, it goes on at the end, now would be the time to apply. So it goes on in Joshua Tree, it goes on at the end of the year from December 5th to 15th. I was very excited to do it, and I think I could do it. Would it be a challenge? Yes, but I would be extreme, because when she spoke about being able to hear her inner voice more loud than ever because she couldn't use her mouth, I cannot imagine the layers and level of healing that was able to come from that, because I don't think we realize how much of a tape is consistently running and really what's being said. A lot of people, it's a life changer.
With the silence. A lot of people cannot.
Some people can't do
be
it
in silent because it is so true. You're forced to hear what's happening in your mind. But I think that's one of the hardest, weird life lessons as we get older, where as kids, it's not ever something I thought, get comfortable with silence. You just don't think about those things until you realize how much media and noise you're always taking in. And I love having the TV on, but there are moments where, no, I need to just sit in my car for a second. I don't need any music. I don't need anything, any distractions. I just need to ask myself what's going on and kind of put things aside for a second. So, but I will admit, I think at this point in life, I would struggle a lot with the 10 days because I'm getting to a point where I can, meditate, turn off the lights and focus, but about 10 minutes and I'm getting antsy. So
God, I crave it. I'd love to challenge.
10 hours a day, and then realizing the enemy of my own self-talk.
But can you imagine the awakening to that would literally create a shift in your whole entire life? Because, we do our work and we talk about negative self-talk and things like this on the show all the time. And it's cool to recognize, but I don't know if recognizing it in moments sometimes is enough. I might need 10 days of the whole hardcore.
And I don't know if you're ever fully fixed. I think that we can go back to that place. So that's why it really is this journey of continuously working on yourself. But I guess that's what makes life fun, right?
That's what makes life fun.
It'd be boring if we didn't have all of our issues.
Yes, well, we could go on forever on these topics, but I'm really excited to dive into a segment that Haley hosts here with the SuperSoul Sit-Down question that goes out on Sundays. So we have this beautiful question. It's not so much news and gossip, but we definitely want to dive into this SuperSoul poll.
Yeah. So I typically make up my own question, but what I really liked about hers is that she put a really positive statement out there, and I just wanted to know if people really agreed with this. And it was that joy is not the absence of pain, but happiness in spite of it. We have 82% that says yes, and 18% says no.
I said yes. What did you say?
I believe yes, and then I started second guessing myself because I think it's situational. I think there's some moments where my mind is fully present and I feel joy complete, and I'm not hiding any pain underneath it. But maybe overall, as a whole person, as just an entity, I think, yeah, there's always going to be existing pain, but I would choose to be happy regardless of the pain. That I think it's a form of accepting that there are things that are going to happen, but you can't give it more power than it has.
Yeah, I definitely think that statement gives people permission, because when we talk about joy and happiness, I think we do get very surface level with our vocabulary and verbiage and take it so literally that you almost feel guilt and shame for not being quote unquote happy. Like, no, I'm happy. Like, I just completely agree, because it gives so many people permission to be like, yeah, like, I'm joyful, I'm grateful, I shouldn't even have to give the disclaimer, but today is a bad day, or this is a bad season, or I'm having a hard time, or I'm sad right now. Like, those are just the human realities. But being able to say joy is, joy is not the absence of pain. So it doesn't mean everything's perfect. You can be joyful without things being perfect. And I think that just creates space for people to be like, well, yeah, I am joyful, but this is hard. And that's that. Like,
yeah,
in spite of it all, we can be happy, right? So why don't we just talk a little bit about owning your soul? We'll dive into
your journey to become more inspired and connected to the deeper world around us starts right now.
So this is the segment where we think about something that we're going to take into the week to own our soul and continue to move, evolve, and grow with some of the stuff that we learned here from Lupita. So did you have something specifically that you learned that you're going to take the mindset into the week?
I really liked her statement where she said, put into the world what without you may never exist. And I'll say I know a lot of my thoughts are thoughts that have already existed, whether I were to say them or not. But it did give me confidence to own your confidence as a person, own your thoughts. And even though we're going to make a lot of mistakes and everything I choose to put out in the world is not going to be correct, and I'm going to have to learn along the way, it gave me confidence to just put out there what I'm feeling and talk to people. And I think that really pushed me to put more writing out in the world. So that's what I'm going to do to own my soul. I'm going to write more, and I'm going to actually put it on a blog for people to read and maybe start conversations through that platform and tap into something even more than hosting and see what happens with that.
Yeah, that's so great. I love it. Congratulations.
Thanks. What about you?
I think that the make room for abundance is a big thing for me personally. So I'm just going to be looking for ways to do that throughout the week, with it being more on the front of my mind and in my thoughts, because I don't think I do it enough. And I do think at times we get in a space where you're just hustling, grinding, working. You think you're not enough, or you're not hustling hard enough, or you're not doing. I want to kind of slow down on what's not happening and make room for what could, intentionally.
And I think it goes back to gratitude too, just checking in with, okay, what is going right? And I know we didn't have like a specific article to share, but as far as just news and gossip for you guys, I definitely wanted to point out that Lupita is she's Lancome's ambassador, and she's named one of the people's most beautiful. So she chose to claim herself as beautiful, and when she stood up and believed it, so did the world. So I think that type of confidence and message is truly, you feel someone's confidence, you find people more attractive that are confident. So if we can find that within ourselves, people will respond. But it shouldn't even be about people. It should be something that we find within ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. I think that's perfect. I mean, especially for kids, if you can grow up that way with that confidence, it's just a game changer. It will help fuel your life. So maybe I read something earlier today. Let's raise children that don't have to heal from their childhood. So,
yeah,
it's like,
what a thought.
Yeah, we're going to do the best we can, but it's still
I like
some of those
that
things.
alone with, spin my paper with what you said. Let's just do the best we can.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's try that.
Let's do that. So with that being said, go into your week doing the best you can, make room for abundance, and let's go forward in all that we were given. Your individuality is important. It's what makes you different. You've never been here before. You'll never be here again. So
let's
go
have
for
a little
it.
holiday joy, guys.
Woohoo! Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of Super Soul Sit Down. We're so happy to have you here. See you same time, same place next week. And always comment below because we love to read your comments. I'm your host, Jamie Alexander, and you can find me on Instagram at Jamie Alexander.
You can find me Instagram and Twitter at HeyJ, HAYJ_. We'll see you next Monday.
Bye.
On behalf of our BHL staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Check out our Black Hollywood Live YouTube page for even more great programming and amazing content. And be sure to subscribe and like our channel when you do. I'm your BHL host, Nakia Monet, and you can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom or at Black Hollywood Live. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.